Alright, back again, and I have another review of an NES accessory. You guys have just seen my recent pickups video where I just got one of these, and this is the Quickshot Flight Simulator Joystick for the NES. This is a very neat controller, and I'm really anxious to show this off to you guys. So really quickly, I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of the outside and kind of give you an idea of what this controller is all about. Now, the actual joystick component you can see is quite big. I mean, it's very, comfortable to fit in my hand. It's not too big or too small. It's got a really good size to it. And it's also got these 3 grip spots here where your fingers can slide in and very comfortably hold the joystick in place. And also this button up here in the back makes a clicking noise, as you can hear, and it's also molded to fit my finger right here. So this button right here overall is very responsive, and it's very comfortable to use. And up here is another button which is also molded to fit my thumb, which also makes a clicking noise and is also very comfortable to use. And the actual joystick itself makes a clicking noise whenever I'm moving in any 8 directions. So overall, the buttons and the joystick itself have a very clicky, responsive feel to it, and I really like that. So that's really comfortable and really nice. Up here on the front, we have a switch for auto fire to either turn it on or off, and that applies to both buttons. You cannot turn auto fire on one or the other. Whenever you turn on auto fire, it applies to both of these up here. And also up here, we have the select button and the start button up here. And right on the side, we have the Quickshot logo. Underneath, we have 4 suction cups to give it stability. And the company logo, this was made by a company called SVI, made in Hong Kong. And yeah, that's pretty much the controller in a nutshell. You guys are probably wondering, what's the B button and what's the A button? I don't see any markings on it. And I was wondering the same thing when I first got this thing. And the A button is represented by this top one up here, and the B button is the back one right here. It's not labeled, I know, but after doing extensive testing with some games, I was able to figure that out for myself. Now, of course, this controller has a couple of downsides to it as well. For one thing, this controller is really top-heavy. If I could really describe it, I would say that the base is actually lighter than the joystick component itself. So it's kind of lopsided and a little bit awkward to use when you're holding it in your hand like this. But when you're just setting it down on a table like this and playing, it's perfect. But I recommend, playing it like this instead of actually holding it in your hand, because otherwise it just feels awkward because of how top-heavy it is. And the only other real gripe that I really have, besides that, these buttons aren't labeled B and A, that was kind of confusing, but after 5 minutes you'll get the hang of it. But another kind of gripe that I have with this controller is that this controller cord is way too short for a standard NES controller. It's shorter than your standard controller or your Zapper. It's actually almost the same length as an Atari 2600 joystick controller, which is pretty lame. But luckily my NES is right next to my desk here, so I really don't have to worry about having any extra controller wire, but still, it would be nice to have the option. But of course, it has the same standard NES controller plug on it. Now, of course, everyone has in mind that this controller is mainly used for flight simulators, and the games that I would recommend that you use this for would be games like Top Gun or Airwolf. Flight simulators like that. This controller really benefits from having the nice responsive controller and the sort of trigger button in the back and the auto fire feature. But because it also has that auto fire feature and the nice responsive controller, this also really works well with shoot-'em-ups like 1943. So this controller really benefits for a couple different genres of games. Now, I definitely would not recommend playing this controller with a platforming side-scroller like Super Mario Bros. Or something, because I can only imagine how awkward this would be to use for a platformer like that. So I would definitely recommend this for flight simulators and side-scrolling or vertical-scrolling shoot-'em-ups. So really quickly though, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of gameplay of this thing in action. I'm going to be playing some 1943, and I'm also going to be playing some Top Gun to kind of give you guys an idea of what this is like in action. So hold on 1 second, guys. I'm going to move the camera and I'm going to show you now. So there you guys go. That is the Quickshot NES controller. A very, very nice and very cheap alternative for a flight simulator joystick or a turbo controller. If you can find this out there for a couple bucks, I definitely recommend it. It's very nice and very comfortable and very, very convenient because it's got the turbo function on there and a really, really nice responsive joystick. So, you know, I definitely recommend it for its price. You know, it's very cheap and plentiful, and also because of how efficient it is. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say about this controller, guys, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope you found it as informative as you did entertaining. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, guys, have a great day.